Welcome to the Yeah We Know podcast, part of the More You Knows podcast network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, and Rod. It is another wonderful week in the Morgan You Know universe. We have Yeah We Know. A little later, we're going to have the fast break, and we are live as always here on the network. If you have anything you'd like to talk about, please put a comment in those comments. Today, we're going to try a little something different, gentlemen. I have 5 questions for you. Chris, can you count?
Can I start with the question? Can we address this dog behind you, Jimmy? I never knew that there would be a dog running around Jim Riska Studios.
Yes. Coco is joining us live as well. Coco is amazing, and she was actually up right behind me, and really good camera view for most of the time before we started. But hopefully, she doesn't do anything she's not supposed to do in the back.
All right, sorry. I thought we should address that because all of a sudden there was a moving being behind you there while you were doing the intro.
There is a dog behind us today.
Yeah, she was posting up on the bed like a show dog. I thought she was trying to make her debut.
Yeah, she's trying. I'm sure she's going to do something really fun here in a minute. So I have 5 questions for you on the Yeah We Know podcast. I want to get your opinions because there's a lot going on right now, and we need to figure this out. My first question, I'm going to go to Chris King on this one. Chris, Drew McIntyre is the champion without a championship.
I think that's true.
Okay. Would you care to expand
you
on
that? You want
that?
me to elaborate? I mean, is he
That
not...
would be...
No, Jimmy, I believe Chris has it. People tune into podcasts to hear yes/no answers. That's what they do.
No, it's on me. I need to ask more open-ended questions.
Listen. He is all right. One of the greatest 5-minute 46-second title reigns in the history of the WWE. All right, he is a champion, and yes, he is going to be a champion without a championship until he gets back in the ring and handles business like he's going to be handling business.
So I think that he has done such a great job, Rod, on social media and in the ring. He hasn't even touched him yet, really. I love where they're going with this, but I think it's a little much to say he's a champion without a championship, Rod.
Okay, I will get to your Drew McIntyre, but Jimmy, my mind continues to be blown here by the presence of Coco because I have stayed at Studio Jim Riska 2 times before, and I don't believe I remember being a dog there. Was I just like not paying enough attention to not see the dog, or is the dog a new addition?
Rod, you and I took her for a walk. I don't know really what you're talking
about.
No. Coco is about a 3-week addition to the Jamriska household right now because why, gentlemen? Why do we do anything that would make our lives easier? Let's just make our lives as hard as possible.
I got 2 of them here at the Morgan Studios. All right, we got Georgia, we got Buddy. Right, I got a small one and I got a big one. I understand. Yeah. So I'm sorry. All right, I'll get off the dog.
I will tell you, Coco is the greatest dog ever, the most chill dog ever. She's just in here right now because Katie and Jackson are doing some stuff out there, and I'm gonna just keep her in here for right now, which is great. But I need your Drew McIntyre. Then we'll talk about Coco some more.
I'm sorry. No, listen.
It's on me. Listen. We're
it's not on you. It's all right. You're allowed to have a dog. It's not. It's okay. I should be podcast professional enough to be able to continue the show and not be distracted by a pooch in the background. And that's on me, not on you, Jimmy. Here's what I will say about Drew McIntyre. If you want to give Drew McIntyre a championship belt for Twitter, oh wait a minute, they kind of already have when they had the Webbies and he won that. So congratulations to Drew. If he wants to continue dropping bars, as the kids say on Twitter, that's wonderful. But what I would like to see Drew McIntyre do is actually fight somebody in the ring. Okay. I'd like to see CM Punk fight somebody in the ring. I'd like to see either one of these dudes put their money where their mouth is right now. Because I'm sorry, Drew McIntyre looks like $1 million to me, and he's on camera all the time, and he has a black thing on his arm, and we're told that he can't wrestle. So something is amiss here, Chris.
I know. And if you go back last week, I called for an investigation, Rod. Adam Pearce is keeping Drew McIntyre from wrestling. It's not Drew McIntyre.
Chris, he should basically be Roman Reigns. He could have a championship and just not wrestle. It'd be fine. Roman Reigns did it. Drew McIntyre should be able to do that.
I would so love to see that because Chris railed against the Roman doing that so hard that if his guy then did that, oh, man.
Listen, my guy wants to fight. He had been fighting with this injury. That's what he said. And then all of a sudden, Adam Pearce gets all butthurt about making sure he's healthy enough to fight and takes him out of the King of the Ring tournament and keeps him out of the ring from fighting these guys and being able to get revenge on Damian Priest and Jey Uso and everybody else. Adam Pearce is the one you need to be mad at. There needs to be an investigation.
Bless Drew McIntyre, though, for being a distraction from the seemingly endless King of the Ring tournament. So at least we do have that.
That's great. I love the King of the Ring tournament.
And speaking of that, Triple H is correct in holding off Dragunov versus Gunther and not having it be at the King of the Ring. Rod.
No, he's absolutely not correct. I'm not sure if I'm going to be struck down and thrown out of polite wrestling society if I say something bad about Paul Levesque here, but this is a complete mistake. This is a complete mistake. I love Jey Uso as much as the next guy, unless that guy is somebody who is holding their cell phone and wielding it up and down when Jey Uso is coming to the ring, right? I don't know if I would go that far, but I do love Jey. But the right move in that match was Dragunov. You give us Dragunov and Gunther, and it's fine for it to be in this King of the Ring tournament that nobody understands if it's the quarterfinals or the second round or the first finals and who takes on the next person, then who goes to Saudi Arabia. Nobody can understand any of that, and it doesn't matter because Gunther and Dragunov would have given us a match that's the bedrock, the foundation for a longer feud. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes fought 3 times. We think about them together all the time. We could have had the beginnings of that right here and now, and darn Triple H for taking it from us.
Chris.
I have to say I'm a little bit confused that Rod can't follow a simple bracket tournament. We have grown up in Indiana. We know what brackets are and how they
We don't
work.
remember the tournament.
But that being said, I agree. I think I've had enough of Jey Uso versus Gunther. We've seen that fight. It was great because of Gunther to me. I think give me Gunther and this guy Dragunov that everybody keeps telling me is great. Like I haven't seen those NXT fights with Walter and
Have you
this
seen
guy.
him wrestle the past 3 weeks?
I have seen him, but I haven't seen him and Gunther in the ring together like you guys have.
Well, correct. It's impossible for you to go see it. There's no way you can go see it right now. I know that. I really do think I go with Rod on this one, and I'm sorry, Chris, but I do because this could have been, and I like your strategy here. It could have been the first match of a series where you know what, Dragunov wins. Dragunov beats Gunther. Gunther's on a little losing streak now. Gunther gets really angry. Now he continues to build. Dragunov continues to build. Maybe we get a championship, mid-card championship, something like that later on. And then maybe a world heavyweight championship down the line, battle between the two. Because really, yes, Dragunov is small, but Dragunov is very, very tough. And I think he could do it.
I completely see in Dragunov the kind of guy that the fans get behind, right? Like you get behind these energy guys like Dragunov, right? You get behind the smaller guys, the guys that you can sort of picture yourself as, other than the fact that he absolutely is chiseled out of stone, you know what I mean? And can lift things that the rest of us can't lift, right? Let's just leave that aside. We're just talking about the height here. So he looks normal like the rest of us in that. And so I love it out of Dragunov. Now, yeah, the card is full at the top, as we often talk about, Jimmy, right? So when we like future cast these guys, it starts to get in a little bit of like NFL draft, NBA draft, right? Where all of a sudden every guy in the first or second round is a potential future star. And you're like, well, wait a minute. How is every single guy in the first and second round a potential future star?
When they never are. When
Exactly.
they never are. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's, I mean, I see it in Dragunov too, but it always depends more, not necessarily on just his skill, but at the room at the top of the card.
It depends so much on how you're booked. Your skill is almost like the fifth thing down. It really is. Speaking of skill, speaking of booking, Braun Breaker is right. He should have been in the King of the Ring tournament, and he should have won the King of the Ring tournament, Chris.
I would have liked to seen Braun Breaker in the King of the Ring tournament. I don't know if I think he should have won, but I think he should have been in the tournament.
Okay, Rod?
I'm actually kind of fine with it because I don't know what Braun Breaker story angle I would like. So why not just, hey, I'm pissed at the world because I wasn't allowed in this tournament. And now I'm going to run roughshod all over people. So, I mean, that's just an easy one to write. So why not bring him in that way? If we're not going to let his last name be Steiner, which I will continue to say is ridiculous. With as much as
Correct.
the WWE likes to talk about second generation and legacy superstars, why he can't just be something Steiner, considering his dad and his uncle are WWE Hall of Famers. I don't know, but if we're not going to use that as his angle, then why not just I'm pissed off at everybody and I'm going to show you with my sports science facts why I'm an athlete unlike anyone else in the WWE.
Could I ask you a question about that, Jimmy? Because that brings up a solid point. Is Braun Breaker not using the name? Is that his choice, or do you think WWE is not letting him?
No, WWE is not letting him. They're not letting him at all. The Steiner, I mean, his dad said some weird stuff, I think, recently that hasn't been very good, but they wanted to keep it away, even though they brought his dad in for an angle. So it's one of those Vince McMahon things that's kind of still bled over. Braun Breaker's a fine name, whatever. It works fine. But yeah, the Steiner thing I think would have been a lot better.
Is it a fine name though? I mean, is it Braun
It's
Breaker? No,
It's
I don't know that we need the same letter first and last name. That's kind of not cool in my book.
The fan of Roman Reigns says he doesn't like alliteration.
How many times does Roman Reigns come to the ring and call himself Roman Reigns? Braun Breaker's referred to himself as Braun Breaker numerous times.
Braun Breaker. My final question about King and Queen of the Ring. We are going to see Jade Cargill versus Bianca Belair in the final four of the Queen of the Ring tournament. Chris.
No, I don't think so. I think you see Nia Jax get her revenge on Jade Cargill in this next match, and then you see Bianca Belair take care of Nia Jax.
So she's going to be Tiffany Stratton too, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see how Jade Cargill is going to lose. I don't know. Is it going to be one of those fluky losses, Rod?
I just think it's ridiculous in the first place that they even set this bracket that, yes, I will admit I'm having trouble following, Chris, because they've rarely ever showed it to me in big bracket form. They just keep doing the card thing. This winner will face this winner. You know what I mean? It's like, well, just show me the friggin' tournament then. They've only done that like once, and I forgot to pause it at that time. So yell at me for not having a quick pause skills anymore. A young adolescent Rod would be mad at my pause skills now, if anybody out there knows what I'm referring to there.
Well,
we all do.
I mean, we had to be skillful back in the day on the pausing. We had to
right. We couldn't rewind it. You know what I mean? We couldn't rewind it.
Well, and it was all jumbled, so you had to be. I mean, you had to be on it.
And
we're talking about wrestling pay-per-views, right?
We are talking about wrestling. But here's the thing, okay? I don't like when you have the tag team partners gonna fight each other, right, Jimmy? And let's talk about what happened in the WWE the last time they tried to set up an angle where the current women's tag team champions were going to fight each other. They both decided to quit and they walked out.
Yep. You know what? Probably not a good idea for these two to walk out right now. Not gonna lie.
No, so I don't get it. I don't like Chris's thing makes sense, but then that elevates Nia Jax, which none of us want, right? Tiffany Stratton's gonna have to get squashed in this, right? And she's on a meteoric rise. So I don't understand why we couldn't have just thrown a couple other sacrificial lambs into this tournament, right? Like, why not pluck that chick who comes out with the Gato del Fantasma and put her in there? You know what I mean? There's just so many other people we could have put in there instead of having to put both Bianca, Jade, and Tiffany all right there bundled up to where somebody's going to come out not looking good. And frankly, those are three people you want to look good right now.
Well, but I mean, I think it also shows that they want it to mean more this year, though, right? And I don't know, does it mean more because the finals in Saudi Arabia?
Exactly. And what is it Jeddah again? I love saying Jeddah.
I don't know. Sure.
I would
never go to Saudi Arabia, but is Jeddah like the second coolest place to go?
Sure. Yes, it is. Jeddah would be the no, Chris. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Maybe third. I don't know.
So Jeddah's like the Chicago of Saudi Arabia. Then right?
Takes you an hour and a half to ride your horse 6 miles, dude, and you're going to Jeddah.
But I'm just saying, so in Dubai, right, with the Burj Khalifa, right, where Tom Cruise did his thing in Mission Impossible, that's like the New York or LA of Saudi Arabia, right? And
that's not Saudi Arabia. That's not Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, it is. Isn't Dubai in Saudi Arabia?
No.
Or is Dubai its own country?
Dubai. Okay, we need to stop talking about Middle East geography because we do
When
not
Chris
know.
is when Chris is the foremost expert on Middle East geography of the three of us,
Like
we need to continue
I
talking
know
about wrestling.
I know what the city that you're thinking of is Riyadh, but I think I'm butchering that pronunciation like I butcher everything. But
Riyadh. It's Riyadh.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine. You're okay.
Yeah,
That's
they've
right.
been
Yeah.
there before too. All right, so we got
Yeah.
like Riyadh and like Jeddah. All right, okay. But Jimmy is relevant because that's where they're having the pay per view. But I'm sorry.
Okay, but
right,
like that's not. But here, that's the thing. The final of the King and Queen of the Ring is in Saudi Arabia, but that's not. That's just to crown the king or queen. So it's not like it's not still a big deal because that's then your number one contender for whatever belt they want to go after.
But have they
Right?
said that? Has that been explicitly said, Jimmy? Did I miss that?
Yeah, you would think that would be it, right? That's how you do it. That's how you make the summer fun to go to SummerSlam to face the champion. That's how you do it. But I don't know if they've done it, Chris.
I mean, if that's not what they do, then
They haven't done it before.
I
Of
mean,
course,
what's
Xavier
the,
Woods is back to back King of the Ring winner.
I,
And it did a lot for Xavier.
They did a lot for Xavier.
I mean, if you
like
win
Bobby
King of the
Lashley, for
Ring,
example.
if you win King of the Ring or Queen of the Ring, and that doesn't give you an automatic spot at the title, then what the hell does?
It definitely does it. Chris, let me ask you this. If I say to you William Regal, do you know who that is?
Yeah, I've heard that name before. I've been around a while.
Okay, well he was the king. He was the king of the ring. Did that do a lot for you?
Steve Austin, have you heard of him? He was King of the Ring once.
Right?
Yeah, but do you even come close to associating that with anything you say about Stone Cold, or do you say he won 3 Rumbles before you mentioned that he was King of the Ring?
I put it
You
in the
say
same
that because
vein.
that's when he did the promo.
I would
Austin
put this
316 night says I just whipped his ass.
Yeah, no, but that's only because Jake was a Bible thumping guy at the time.
Yeah.
This is in the same vein for me. Okay, now remember, this is like somebody that's new or coming back, okay, or just getting into it. This is the view I'm coming from. King of the Ring to me feels just like Money in the Bank or the Royal Rumble.
What?
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
it's a type of tournament.
It should.
It's a type of tournament that you have to win in order to become a number one contender and get a chance at the belt.
Listen,
That's what
Chris,
it feels like to me.
I would have been with you if you would have said just Money in the Bank, because the Money in the Bank briefcase is superfluous and stupid at this point, and I think that they should just do away with it. But then when you threw in the Sacred Rumble, which clearly states whoever wins it gets a shot at WrestleMania, and the iconic shot of them pointing at WrestleMania, the biggest event in wrestling, you lost me there, Chris, but I would have been with you on Money in the Bank.
Well, I see where Chris is coming from, because it should mean that. It should mean something that is you're going for that championship at SummerSlam. You're going for something specific, where now it really doesn't. And they really can't, because you have King of the Ring and then the next month is Money in the Bank. So then you'd have 2 conflicting things going on there.
And can we also talk about how at this point we have worried about King of the Ring, that we now have to have a title for title, or do we have a title for title at King of the Ring? Jimmy, what's happening there?
My final question is Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul, title for title at King of the Ring is the right move, and Logan Paul should win that match. I'm going to go to Chris.
Yes, Logan Paul should win that match.
Let's go.
All right. There would be nothing.
That bandwagon got jumped off quick, man.
There would be nothing that would generate more heat in the WWE universe than to give somebody like a Logan Paul both belts and end Cody's story. That, to be fair, now that he has the belt, I'm not as interested in his story, but I hate Logan Paul, and I would hate to see him with both belts. But from whatever you guys tell me, that's the way to go here. You give a bad guy the most heat you can generate, and somebody like Logan Paul will generate that type of heat.
Rod, what do you think here? Do you think Logan Paul is that person that Cody can have a few matches with, build a feud with, that will take Cody's title run to the next step? Or do you think Logan Paul should just get the belt?
I will answer your question in a Chris-like fashion. I believe Logan Paul is good enough at everything in professional wrestling right now that he can do any of the above. So whatever way they want to write it is fine. But I'm going to handle the answer to this question this way. I foretold of this to all of you, okay, on the numerous times where we had these fantasy booking segments talking about how Roman Reigns would finally go down. I foretold of this. I said, hey, it's all great until Roman Reigns goes away, and then we're all going to be missing him. And what's happening every once in a while, randomly at crowds, people are just chanting, we want Roman. We want Roman. That's happening. And when the dog chases after the car, he loves chasing after the car. His tail's all wagging. He's all happy. But when he catches up to the car, he doesn't really know what to do with it. And I foretold of this about Cody Rhodes as well. So let's take the pressure off Cody. Let's get the belt off of him before the worm starts to turn and before he becomes John Cena-like. While he still can save a little bit of his cred, let's put the belt on a heel Logan Paul. I'm with it, but they're definitely not going to do that. They're going to have Cody Rhodes become a Grand Slam champion.
I don't see how. I think Cody Rhodes winning both belts hurts the United States Championship so much more because he will have to give that up. And then it's back to a random tournament thing again where Braun Breaker wins that. And hey, let's have
and I won't be able to follow.
Let's have another battle royal, guys, for the United States Championship. How about we do that? That'd be awesome, huh?
How about whoever wins the Andre the Giant Battle Royal gets it this time? Let's make that really, really important.
So just go all the way to Mania. Just have it vacant for the next 10 months, and it goes all the way to Mania.
That would be great. That would be great. No, I feel bad for certain other people on the WWE card that they felt they needed to pull the Logan Paul card here, right? Like, I'm not trying to come down on Logan Paul. Like, what that guy does is great. I don't want to like it, but like the results speak for themselves when it comes to Logan Paul in the sports entertainment arena recently. So that man could seem to do no wrong there, but I feel bad for some other people that we couldn't figure out another angle for Cody here coming out of WrestleMania better than, hey, let's have him fight Logan Paul. But then again, Jimmy, we have to make mention here. We pointed out the weird Saudi Arabia jokes before. Yep. These guys pay big money. It's very possible they said they want Logan Paul. This is why Shawn Michaels was trucked out and got injured. Yep. Triple H was trucked out. Goldberg has been trucked over there.
Yeah, and I think that's more along the lines where this is going. It's going to be a really solid match. Cody Rhodes will win. The title for title is weird. I think they mentioned. I mean, they did say that, right?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
I think they did. If
really
not,
dozing. Listen, the last episode of Raw really was tough for me. So if it came up during that one, I was dozing.
That was
tough.
The
last episode of Raw.
I think that Cody wins, and then we actually finally get his real competitor.
Who's that?
For the next couple of months. Yeah, that's the issue. That's the issue, Rod. You know,
it's Randy, right? It's got to be Randy. Chris foretold it, like coming soon out of WrestleMania. Chris has been right on so many things. I give the guy a hard time, but everyone knows that I love him. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. Walked down the aisle with me as one of my guys in my wedding, right? So I got mad respect for Chris King, and he called Orton a while back, and I think that he was dead on. That's the only thing that's going to make any sense.
Remember that when we do the fast break, that you have mad respect for Chris King. I just want just remember that one right there. So,
you also walked down the aisle at my wedding too, buddy.
Okay, so on that note, you know what? Screw it. With that, you've been listening to the How We Know podcast, part of the More You Know's podcast network. You're in the ring with Jimmy, Chris, Rod, and Coco's sleeping now.
Good for Coco. LA Knight, you were thought of. This really could have been your spot again, buddy. I'm sorry.
Goodbye, Net. Yeah. Hello, Internet. The Morgan You Know podcast network presents Balls Brew.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the flagship sports podcast here on the Morgan You Know podcasting network. My name is Rod Morgan. I will be your affable host. Joining me is the executive producer of this podcast and every other podcast here on the network. His name is James Jamriska. Jimmy, hello.
Hello, Rod. I'm happy to be here as always. And remember, we are live. So if you are listening, throw a question in the chat. We'll get to it.
We absolutely will. We appreciate those of you tuning in, checking out our beautiful mugs here on Facebook, joining us with a background that I don't compliment him on quite enough. He has stepped up his game from the hostage terrorist negotiation situation he used to have going on. He's now looking good. And I said North Carolina last podcast, and he didn't call me out on it. I appreciate that. Back home in Indiana, it's our guy, Chris King.
What's up, fellas? Crazy week in the NBA, right?
It certainly was, but I want to start with something that I guess sounds crazy at the face for a second, but then upon further instruction, maybe we'll realize it's sane. Jared Goff will be the second highest paid quarterback in the NFL starting next year, pending any more contract re-signings, right? Dak Prescott could get a deal. You have the guy up in Green Bay could get himself a deal. You have Tua supposedly up for a deal, so those could change. But going into next year, Jimmy, Jared Goff, who was thrown out of LA. They had to attach an extra first-round pick in the trade to get Matt Stafford just because his contract was deemed so bad. Is now going to be making $53 million a year. Only 170 of the 212 is guaranteed.
Oh,
you know how that NFL stuff works, but still the second most guaranteed money other than the aberration of Deshaun Watson contract that the Browns gave him.
It's one of those things where it's a lot of money, but you're right. He'll be the second highest paid quarterback for about a month, and then he'll be like the sixth highest paid quarterback. But at least with him, you get consistency. You know what you get every day. You can go to an NFC championship game. You have the tools maybe to go further. He's played in. I think he's fine. Listen, if I'm the Bears for the past 5 years, would I have liked Jared Goff? Yes, I would have. And a lot of teams can say that. I think I'm fine with that.
Chris, isn't it sort of the issue with Jared Goff that like he is definitely a solid quarterback if we look across the landscape of guys who snapped under center, and you've talked about this, how many different guys took a snap last year as a starting quarterback in the NFL. He's certainly up near the top, but isn't the problem at some point you're going to need a quarterback you're paying $53 million to make a play to put you over the top? And is Jared Goff really that guy?
I would say Jared Goff is that guy 33% of the time. All right. I mean, but like, that's the thing. You don't always need the quarterback to do that. And hopefully Detroit's thinking that if we have a guy like Goff that can consistently put points up on the board, we don't need those last minute heroics anymore. I think it's I'm a little bit of a homer when it comes to Lions. I've been on their bandwagon for the last few years. I love what they're doing up there. So to me, they really can't do any wrong. So I'm for it. Sign this guy. Lock him up. He's done more for your football franchise than a lot of other players that ever have.
Jimmy, I got one more for you here, and then I'm going to come back to Chris for something related to Goff. Should Detroit be worried that Jared Goff might not be Jared Goff when their offensive coordinator undoubtedly takes a head coaching job finally this offseason? When Ben Johnson, who Mr. Williams talks about all the time, goes out of town, should Lions fans be worried that Jared Goff will turn into a pumpkin? Shout out Cinderella.
Yeah, I think that they need to enjoy this season as much as possible because the NFC North is going to get a lot tougher over the next couple of years. So they really need to go all out. Last year, I think, was the window. I honestly do, because I think there's just so much competition this year. And that Ben Johnson hanging over their heads is a big thing, too. That cannot be overlooked. I think they should be worried, yes.
All right, Chris, speaking of worry, Jerry Jones, is he? I mean, I'm not sure how coherent he is anymore, but I would like to think that he is definitely worried at this. Like Dak Prescott, I mean, if Jared Goff is $53 million, right? And Joe Burrow is $55 million and Justin Herbert's right there around 51. I mean, what in the world is Dak Prescott going to be demanding from the Cowboys, Chris? Because let's be clear here. He can just straight out demand it. Cowboys cannot franchise tag him, and his contract runs out at the end of this year.
Yeah, he can demand it. The Cowboys, they have a lot of issues. Dak, I don't think is the biggest or most pressing right this minute. I don't have the problem with Dak that a lot of other Cowboys fans do. All right. I don't put all this blame on him for not being able to get us over this hump. All right. When you are a player for the Cowboys, there are additional hurdles that you have to maneuver and obstacles you have to fight through on that franchise that no one else has to deal with. And you mentioned it, Rod, Jerry Jones. All right. Making decisions like bringing back Zeke for, I don't know. He thinks it's 2014 again.
Reunion tour, baby. Reunion tour. Mostly old stuff. Couple of covers. Maybe a few new tracks. We'll see. You know what I mean? Reunion tour. Let's go.
Oh,
Chris,
oh.
I'm not trying to come down on Dak. What I'm saying is, honestly, Dak will demand $60 to $65 million, and he probably is right. And the Cowboys should give it to him because if they don't, Jimmy, I have a feeling the Miami Dolphins will be like, hey, Dak, why don't you come on over here and take this offensive weapon that we have here, and we think you'll be better than Tua Tagovailoa because we don't want to pay him that kind of money.
What about the New York Giants, who would just love to have a competent quarterback? It has been 28 years since the last Super Bowl win for the Dallas Cowboys. I think the GM probably should go, and a new GM should come up. The problem is, as Chris said, the GM's the owner, and the owner's the GM. It hasn't worked. Let's try something different.
Boy, a Bears fan trying to call out a Cowboys fan for a championship drought.
All right. Hold on. The schedule just came out. We got plenty of time to fight about the NFL. Let's not. The NBA playoffs are still going on. I just wanted to start Balls and Brew that way. Give Jimmy a bit of a break because he just hosted. Yeah, we know, but he's about to step into the hosting chair here and run us on what we all love to do. Yell about the NBA. The fast break is next.
Fast break, the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. I'm Jimmy, Rod, and Chris are here. And gentlemen, I have 5 burning questions for you in the NBA right now.
Let's go.
My first question is, we found out Caitlin Clark is a bust. She had 10 turnovers in her debut game. 20 points. The team got their butts kicked. Caitlin Clark is worthless. No one should be watching the WNBA. Women's basketball is nothing. That is my question for you. Is that a correct statement? Because I heard that a lot today, everybody. I heard that a lot.
Wasn't this a preseason game or was this a regular season game?
This was the first regular season game.
Okay, it's one game. I mean, that's a lot of overreaction. I mean, that's not what you want to see from the number 1 pick, but that's still a lot.
Michael Olowokandi, Darko Milicic, Caitlin Clark, Rod.
No, here's what you got to understand. All right, let's look at this on just a realistic human level here. Okay, if you're a player in the WNBA, all right, you have to be a little bit like, who does this Caitlin Clark really think she is? Right? Like, there was no way that anybody on that Connecticut team was about to go out there on the court and let Caitlin Clark show them up the way that she did girls in college. All right. So that's evident by the 10 turnovers because I think they were all over her. They were like, you are not going to beat us. Let's not forget that Aaliyah Boston is on this Indiana Fever team. She could have stepped up and did not have more points than Caitlin Clark anyway. So this Fever team has a little ways to go to be as good as I think everyone is going to want them to be. Caitlin Clark is fine. She still buried some unbelievable 3-pointers because when you can shoot, you can shoot.
Yeah, and she also didn't get an off season. All right. Didn't all these other NBA women get off seasons? Like, I mean, she just finished playing in April. All right. So like, let's be realistic. Like, she's on a long season right now still.
And the best part of all this, Jimmy, is we just had a discourse about the WNBA the same way we do the NBA. And once that happens more and more for them on big platform shows, they're going to get the exposure and the dollars that we all want them to have. Not that we're helping that, but just, every.
No, we're not helping with the dollars, but we're helping with the discourse because we can discourse like no other. Chris King, this isn't a riddle. This is a question. If a hawk wins the lottery, but there are no players to choose from, does it really mean anything?
Oh, no. If let me tell you about this lottery. All right. If you're Detroit,
let me tell you something.
If you're Detroit, you got to be mad. All right.
You getting the lottery now.
Getting the 5th pick, like 3 years. Yeah, 3 years in a row. I mean, that smells like shenanigans. But I guess, like you said, there's not that by far legitimate consensus number 1 pick. All right. But you're not going to sit there and tell me there's not talent in this upcoming draft pool, because there is. All right. There is. So I'm not talking about Zach Edey. All right. All right. You Boilermakers out there. I'm not talking about him, but there is real talent out there. Right. There's a French kid that's supposed to be really good. There's a lot of players out there that we saw.
Are you sure about that? Or did you literally just throw out a French kid? Or do you actually know that there is? Or did you just say a French kid?
There is a legitimate French kid that's in the draft.
His name is Alex Starr.
Yeah, so see, why did you even ask that if you knew? I knew.
Because of course I know, but I didn't think you did.
Yeah, but the number one pick, the Alex Sar guy is like, he's okay.
They're all okay.
Yeah.
That's why the Pistons
Yeah.
should be happy they didn't get number one. All right. That's why the Spurs should be happy that they fell back in this draft, right? You don't want another top number one pick getting the highest level rookie salary and then being on a team with a bunch of other young guys, right? The Houston Rockets should be happy they're not up there. You got a bunch of young guys that already want shots. You don't need those dudes. This draft is full of like 5 and 6 and 7 men, right? And those dudes are becoming more and more valuable because you get some of those guys in the teens and 20s in the draft, and their rookie contracts are cheap when you have to pay your big top stars 45, 50, 55, on upwards of $60 million when we go into this next collective bargaining agreement.
Yeah, and the Spurs should be happy. They got 2 picks in the top 10, so chances are they're going to hit on one of them.
But as far as it relates to Atlanta, Jimmy, I think it's like it's good for them because I think it gives them a little more fodder to figure out Trae Young, DeJounte Murray. Which guy are we shipping out of town? What's the best deal for us? And this number one pick gives them a little bit of extra stuff there. So I think it's actually sort of good for them.
Yeah, and we will delve deep into all of the lottery and offseason moves in the offseason, but we have some basketball to talk about. So this is a multiple choice question. Your choices are, should I say, his wife, his mother, one of his kids. The question is, what member of Rick Carlisle's family did TJ McConnell insult? Ron.
I think it must have been TJ McConnell insulted Rick's wife somehow, right? Or he hit on her, or Rick thought he hit on her at like the Christmas mixer or something. I don't know, because TJ McConnell has showed that he is not afraid of any of this series. He has shown great defense. Actually, I wouldn't say great, but he's been a lot better than anybody else on this sorry Pacers defensive squad. So I don't understand why Rick Carlisle, and can anybody tell me, do we know for a fact, is this actually really Rick Carlisle, or is this just a ghost projection of Rick Carlisle out there? Because he doesn't seem to be doing a whole heck of a lot other than watch Andrew Nembhard consistently get cooked, and then he does nothing but throw Nembhard back out there. Nesmith, a bull in a china shop that he is, but he's shown a little bit of ability to have some size and some physicality on Brunson. Never mind, he can get screened off. Nembhard has him. I don't understand what Rick Carlisle is doing, and the Pacers should absolutely be ashamed of the level of defense they are showing in this series, because they have turned Jalen Brunson into a 100% stone cold lock top 10 player of all time, Hall of Famer, by the amount of points that they have let him score in this series. No one is pointing out that Jalen Brunson's point levels are inflated because he's playing 48 minutes a game against this sorry-ass Pacers squad that can't stop anybody. They should be ashamed of themselves. This series is sitting on a silver platter for them, and they can't even run a double team. The Pacers defense is abhorrent.
So I was going to play the Rod Damnation at some point in there, but you didn't take a breath. So that was his Rod Damnation of the week. Chris, back to my question here. Wife, mother, or kid? Who did TJ McConnell offend? And why should the Pacers not be ashamed? I guess I will change the question, Chris, for you, because I don't think you think they should be ashamed.
Okay. I mean,
whoa. You both love each other, remember?
Where do I need to start? Okay, for one, TJ McConnell has been doing well against Brunson in a limited amount of time. He has done it. Brunson has only shot 11 shots against him. I wouldn't say that is a plethora of it's just anecdotal evidence that he is better than Nembhard at guarding him, when Nembhard's been better throughout the season at guarding the other team's best player than either Naismith or McConnell. McConnell still played 19 minutes the other night. I wouldn't say he got shafted or put on the bench longer than normal. He averaged 18 minutes a game throughout the season. They have never had defense this entire season, so why all of a sudden do we expect them to all of a sudden change their identity in the playoffs and start playing some sort of championship level defense and be ashamed that they're not? That's a little bit ridiculous of an ask. I wouldn't turn around and say Jaylen Brown should be ashamed because he's playing the same way he has the entire career of his basketball life. You don't say they should be ashamed. This is the identity of the Pacers. We aren't great on defense. We haven't been all year. Everybody knows that. We are great on offense. We keep the ball moving. Didn't look great the other night, but that's the only night you can say our offense did not show up. Was that game 5? To be ashamed is a pretty rough statement to say to a team that is essentially doing the exact same thing they've done the entire season.
Speaking of Ghost Rod, because I'm kind of more on your line on this one because Julius Randle's not playing, OG Anunoby's not playing. They are playing everyone 48 minutes. Tyrese Halliburton, he looks scared out there, and I am a huge fan.
Who's that? You're gonna have to remind me. Who's
He's the
Tyrese Halliburton,
starting
Jimmy?
he's the starting point guard for the Pacers.
Oh, you mean the guy who made the Olympic team over Jalen Brunson?
He
You
should
think
be our
Jalen Brunson's
number one
thinking about
scorer.
that?
Yeah. I am more concerned about Halliburton than anything else. Well, actually, Nemhard on why is he guarding him? I never understand why when everyone sees something,
Because
except
Rick
for
Carlisle's smarter than all of us, Jimmy. He's
but it's
smarter
not
than all
working.
of us.
It's
Yeah.
not working.
Turning in 70 calls to the NBA officials after the first 2 games in Madison Square
Yeah.
Garden set a bad tone for his team. All right. They set a bad tone for his team. They've then continued feeling that the world is against them and they haven't shown up like dogs to fight. And the Knicks have shown up like dogs every single game. Hartenstein absolutely wiped them out. And Chris, I will continue to say ashamed because I refuse to embrace mediocrity. You can tell me that the Pacers have been terrible at defense all year, and I will tell you that that's not something they should accept. We shouldn't give them a blue ribbon for, oh, well, the Pacers are a bad defensive team, and they wear it like a badge of honor. That's terrible. You're not supposed to be bad at defense. You're supposed to be good at defense. You're supposed to up your level of play in the playoffs. The Pacers haven't done it, therefore a shame. Shame.
Okay.
This is crazy.
Whoa.
The guy who has told me my entire time on this podcast that the NBA doesn't care about defense, that I shouldn't worry about defense and stocks.
That's
That
changed.
the NBA needs to embrace scoring and people want to see dunks and the 3-point shot. And that's what we need to be embracing. But now, because it suits his argument, that team needs to be ashamed because they're not doing those things.
But that's changed over the past couple months. They really put that emphasis back on defense, back on hard play, and that is something that has hurt the Pacers, quite frankly. I mean, it really has. When you don't have any defense, they're just going to go right through you, and that's kind of what's happening right now. My next question.
No, hold on a second. I'm
Yeah.
just going to say this for any listeners of the pod going forward. My takes in February are definitely going to be different from my takes in May because those are 2 completely different sports. Okay. February drudges of winter NBA basketball, game 55 through game 70. Okay. Is completely different than the semifinals of the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference in the NBA playoffs. All right. So, Chris, I get your point, and I'll go ahead and give you the points there. I'll cede to you, but it's pretty stinking flimsy to try to say that on February I'm desperate for NBA games to be entertaining, but in the playoffs for a team to actually win a crown, I want them to play defense. How dare I?
My 4th question is very simple. How good is Jimmy at predicting NBA outcomes? And I quote, by this time next week, the Nuggets will be up 3-2 and everything will be a different story. Let me check my notes real quick. The Nuggets are now up 3-2, and there's a completely different story. How Jokic is superhuman and not a fluke MVP 3 times over. And Michael Jordan, he's still at the top of the list. Anthony Edwards is maybe a rung or 2 below him. This Nuggets and T-Wolves series is fascinating, isn't it, Chris?
Okay. You're
No,
not
it's
wrong.
not.
It is. It's beyond that. Like what Jokic did the other night is almost beyond unbelievable. It's pretty absurd even for his lofty standards, all right? I read 98 passes that man made in that game with 0 turnovers, all right? 98 passes, 0 turnovers.
Caitlin Clark had 10.
That's
Shout out to
insane.
KCP, by the way. Shout out to KCP. Did anybody
That was
notice
awesome.
this at the end of the game? Saved him a turnover.
Yep. So shout out to him, but like still, like that itself is an insane stat. Not to including, scoring 40 points on 77% shooting, which is unreal efficiency. Like the guy is crazy, and I can't believe
if this Pacers team could somehow make the finals versus the Nuggets, Jokic could break Chamberlain's record playing against this Pacers defense. Are you kidding me? What in the world would the Pacers have for Jokic? Man, he wouldn't miss a shot.
Boy, what kind of meltdown would Rod have if the Pacers beat the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals?
I'd be fine with
Pacers
it.
aren't getting to the Eastern
They're
Conference
not getting
Finals.
there,
The
though.
Knicks
That's the
are,
issue.
and therefore the Celtics probably aren't getting to the NBA Finals because this Knicks team has way more fight than the Celtics. But we're not talking about the Celtics.
Actually, my fifth question right now. The Knicks and Nuggets is the best possible NBA Finals matchup. Chris King.
No, it's not the best possible matchup. It may make for a great story on the Knicks side, but I have a feeling they get feasted on by the Nuggets if this gets to the finals.
Anybody gets feasted on by the Nuggets. This isn't fair. This thing's a fait accompli, man. The Nuggets are winning the NBA championship. Book it. Boom. Over. Done. There's not a team out there that's going to do anything with this Denver team. The team we saw last night pick apart the Minnesota Timberwolves, because let's not forget, what did everybody tell us the Minnesota Timberwolves did in game 1 or 2? We were being told that was the bad boy Pistons. That was the Pistons that beat the Lakers. That was the 91 Bulls. We were being told that was some of the best defense that's ever been played in the modern era of the NBA. And Jokic just said, oh, yeah, watch this. I mean, nobody's beating this Nuggets team. I've bled Celtics green all year long, but I'm smart enough to know this team doesn't have it. The Knicks are playing 5 guys 48 minutes a game. There's no chance that they're going to get through the next series and then beat the Nuggets in the finals. And the Mavericks, if Luka Doncic was actually on 2 good Luka Doncic feet and yelling at the refs about 10% less, because let's face it, he's going to yell at the refs no matter what, but he's in pain, so he's yelling at the refs even more than he normally does, and it's making him a worse player, so they're diminished. So nobody's beating the Nuggets. All this is a fait accompli. We should just shut the fast break down, Jimmy, and start focusing on football.
And with that, you've been listening to the Fast Break on the Morgan Knows Podcasting Network.
I'm angry. I'm angry about the Celtics. All right. We just continue to see this team go out there. And tonight, you got the Cavs on the ropes, right? Donovan Mitchell's not going to make the court again. Jared Allen continues to be out. Karis LeVert, he's out. So Karis LeVert, who had a decent showing last game when they needed some points, he's even out. And the Celtics, what do? Up by 6 points at half. They're letting Marcus Morris Sr. cook them. I mean, this team just never shows up to play. They just dribble around and shoot fadeaways, pass it in, pass it back out to the 3-point line. There's zero killer instinct on this team. And I thought that Drew Holiday coming to this team and then Jalen and Jason actually being the ones that run this team were going to be the backbone it needed. And it turns out the guy who got fired under circumstances we still know nothing about was the edge the Celtics needed all along. Ime Udoka, I miss you.
Goodbye, Internet.